In a subscription business, what does an effective member welcome phone call look like? And does it really improve retention? I'm Robert Skrob, and this is the show that helps your membership subscription business to be unleavable. Many of my subscription business clients do outbound calls with new subscribers in order to onboard those new subscribers into their membership. Are these outbound calls effective when done right? Absolutely. These calls can help in three important ways. Number one, they get your new members engaged into your program. Number two, you'll get helpful information about the member as well as feedback about your marketing. And third, where appropriate, you can upsell members into other products or higher levels of subscription for better monetization. When training your team on how to conduct these calls, there's three things to decide in advance. First, when you should reach out to the new subscriber. Second, who should conduct these calls. And finally, what to say to have the greatest impact. But before we dive into these points, first, press the like button and subscribe to this channel to make sure that you're the first to know about future episodes. Now you may have heard people say that new member phone calls are ineffective or a waste of time. Is that really the case? Well, in my experience, it's all about the implementation. Without proper planning, there's a whole host of ways these calls could become unproductive, or worse, lower your retention rates, and I've seen that happen. Every week I hear people discussing onboarding strategies saying, "Oh, I tried that, but it just didn't work." It's like when I first tried to play tennis. Without a coach, I kept hitting the ball over the perimeter fence. Similarly, some inexperienced business owners try onboarding without a coach, and they just can't seem to keep the ball on the court. Within my book, Retention Point, one of the 10 retention point accelerators mentioned is every member contact is a sales message. Think about this. Imagine spending big money on optimizing your website and advertising. But when you turn over new member phone calls to a kid who'd rather send a text than have a real conversation with a human, I know it sounds crazy, but it is crazy. And yet, this is exactly what happens in many subscription businesses. So if you'd like to improve retention and you're open to experiencing the benefits of effective phone calls to new subscribers, they need as much thought, strategy, and careful crafting as everything else in your business. When done well, these calls can turn a new subscriber into a passionate fan. With that background, let's walk through the three big considerations before creating new subscriber onboarding engagement calls. First, when should you reach out to new members? Second, who should make the calls? And finally, what to say to have the greatest impact. First, let's talk about when. I recommend calling your new subscribers between 3 and 10 days after they joined. That way, it's not too early and they've had a chance to enjoy some of the benefits. Also, there's likely a bit of a lull after the initial excitement of joining. Feel free to use email to invite your new subscriber to schedule an appointment with your team, as this will cut down on the calls to people who just aren't going to call you back. Your email could begin with something as simple as, "Joe, we would like to schedule a call with you to learn more about your needs and to show you how to get the most from your new membership." Then you might want to include a link to a scheduling app that allows the member to book an appointment with a member of your team. The next consideration is who should be making these calls. As I mentioned earlier, these calls are actually sales calls. So the ideal person to make these calls is somebody with sales experience. And to make these calls even more effective, if appropriate, you should incentivize your salesperson with a bonus based on the new member retention. For example, if your current 60-day retention rate is 70%, you could offer a bonus for increasing it to 80%. That kind of change is worth a 15% increase in subscriber lifetime value, which means more revenue for you, which is a big win, right? So it's definitely worth making sure that you have the right person making the call, and ensure that that person is incentivized to make sure that that call goes really, really well. The next step in your system is what to say on the call. When a new member joins via an online form without any human interaction, bear in mind that the phone call will be the member's first person-to-person interaction with your company. And yeah, first impressions really count. In the book Spin Selling by Neil Rackman, the author includes a great outline for a sales call, and I recommend you follow the same format for these member engagement calls. Your goal is to get the new member to open up and give you helpful information about themselves. This gives your salesman great insights on what they can do to best help the member, and it also gives you helpful insights to further improve your sales processes. I recommend that you start with what Spin Selling calls situation questions. Invite your new member to tell you about themselves and their situation. You could begin with an open question such as, "Tell me about yourself. What are the most important goals that you're currently working on?" Then ask for clarifying details to get a full picture of where they are. Next, ask problem-type questions. For example, you could ask, "What are the most frustrating challenges that you have to deal with on an ongoing basis?" Basically, you're looking for opportunities to learn what's annoying your member the most. This gives you a perfect opening to make some helpful recommendations. Before you dive in with the solutions, however, you'll want to ask your member implication questions. Unfortunately, this is what gets left out most often. Implication questions explore the effects of your member's problem. Asking questions like, "What's going to happen if you don't fix this problem?" Take time to explore this area with your new member to identify the cost of dealing with this particular problem. Finally, ask what's called need payoff questions. Invite your member to tell you how your membership can help solve their problem and find out what the value is they'll receive when they implement that solution. There are very powerful questions that can help convince your member to invest time in your program. Using the answers to these questions, you're then in a position to make some recommendations. Perhaps there are resources available that your member can access as part of their subscription that will solve their member's problem. Sometimes you'll have other resources, perhaps an event or a product or another membership level that's able to help your member implement their solution more quickly. If that's the case, you now have the ideal opportunity to provide recommendations and demonstrate a return on investment for your new member. That's what it takes to be unleavable. When done properly, these calls can have a tremendous positive impact on both your member and your membership program growth. New members will become more engaged, they'll feel heard, and they'll get solutions implemented more quickly. What's more, you'll likely find that the new member is happier, stays around longer, and both are major wins for overall retention. So there you go. If you've benefited from the ideas that I shared within this episode, then I'm confident that you'll love this resource. After more than 25 years of working with subscription and membership businesses, I've identified the key factors that contribute to the most successful subscription businesses. If you'd like to know what they are, you can buy this book on Amazon or instantly download a digital copy for free at subscriptionsmadeeasy.com. After you've received the book, there's an opportunity to have me walk you through these growth models and answer your questions. You'll probably want that too, but there's no obligation. Now let me ask you, have you developed any strategies for a new member phone call to welcome your new subscribers? Please share your thoughts and opinions about that or anything else that I've covered on this episode. I'd love to hear from you, and you can simply post your comments below. Also, remember to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and that way you'll be the first to know when new episodes are available. And finally, check out this video on subscriber monetization. It'll give you another perspective on how these outbound calls can have a huge positive impact on your monthly recurring revenue. Enjoy this video, and I'll see you next time on Be Unleavable.